Hi everybody, this is Maureen Wong from mycasestudies.blogspot.com. Today I wanted to share with you a little organizational tip. We have a lot of things that go along with our Misties, or at least I do. I've got bumpers and centering guides and sticky mats and templates and all kinds of things. And I had them just shoved off to the side in a little box, and every time I wanted something I'd have to dig through it. So I thought I'd make something to organize all those little extras that I have for my Misty in a folder like this, and I can put it away. I have a little area on my craft desk where I have a little gap between two tall items, so I can stick all kinds of folders in there. That's where I have my color charts and my scoreboard and my paper trimmer. And now I'm going to have this Misty folder. And what it is basically just manila folders, and I have pocket page protectors, photo pockets, things like that, that are all cut down and sewn to make little pockets for my bumpers. I have my clear positioning guides. I have my A2 centering guide, my thirds template, and then on this next page I have my sticky mats. I have all of Cindy's templates, and then in the back I have extra room in case I come up with anything else that I want to put in here. You don't need to put this extra space. I tell you in the video how to do just the one extra page so that you can put that in there, but basically this is it, and it's working out really well so far. I'm always reaching for my bumpers and for my guides and things, so that's why I put them in the front. I was going to put them on the front of the actual front of the manila folder, but I didn't want it getting caught on anything when I slipped it in and out of the little space that I have for it. So I kept everything inside, and it's actually working out really well. So let me tell you a little bit more about how I made it. Okay, for my particular storage folder, I used a couple of different pocket pages, and this is the full size 8.5 by 11 from Avery. I bought a big giant pack from Costco because I use this for a lot of different things. But you can find them in smaller packs on Amazon or in office supply stores, and it doesn't have to be this brand, of course. The other thing I use is this 2-pocket. This is actually meant to store photos, and I got this from a place called centuryphoto.com. Unfortunately, you have to buy them in packs of 25, and when I bought them at the time, I meant it for storage. I like to store, well, at that time anyway, I like to store things in binders like die cuts and card fronts and all kinds of things in these photo pockets in binders. And so I have a whole bunch of these left over from when I was doing that, and so I actually used one of these cut down to put in my organizer. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's these weldings to make the pockets, and I cut all those off, and I cut between the pockets, and I came out with well, this one has all the sides cut off, but I left the two pockets intact together. And then this one, I actually cut off all the sides, and then I cut off the other pocket. And then you can see how I did this one. I used my sewing machine to sew little tracks. So I fit my 3/4, 1 inch, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4 in this perfectly, with just a little bit of space in between each for stitching lines. And then for my 2 inch, 2 1/2, and 3 inch, I'm using the full size pocket page protector because that fits perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is cut this down to a size that I like, which I've already done, and I cut off the the whole part too. And I cut it down to the height that I wanted. This isn't the one. Oh, and I've lost it amongst all of my things. Here it is. Sorry, this is really hard to see with all this plasticky glare. This is the full-size sheet protector, just cut down to a size that I liked, which was approximately the same height as this one. And then what I'm gonna do is put in my bumpers how I like them, well, you know, in order. And then I'm gonna make sure they have space in between them, just like that. And then I'm gonna take it to my sewing machine and sew up. But the one thing I wanna do with this first is these two edges are the same height because I just cut it flat across. What I'm gonna do is take a scissors and cut down a little bit, just like, what is that, a ½ inch or so. And I'm gonna cut out a strip of plastic from the front, and it doesn't have to be even or anything like that, but I'm gonna cut out this strip of plastic, and I'll tell you why in just a minute, all the way to the edge, so that the front is shorter than the back. And what that's gonna do is when you put your bumpers back in your sewn pockets, they'll be easy to put in because the front is shorter than the back. So you can touch it against the back and it'll slide right under the front. If they were the same height, you might have to separate them with your fingers to be able to get the bumpers in, but this way you just have to slide them in and it's really easy. So then I would do this again, line them up, take it to my sewing machine and sew up each of those pockets. And now we have the fuse from, I think it's from We Are Memory Keepers, that will actually fuse the plastic. So if you have one of those, you can do that and you don't have to use a sewing machine. So that would actually probably be faster and easier. Okay, so I pretty much have my pockets all ready, and what I'm using for the outside are manila folders. And when I figured out how many pockets I wanted to be using, one manila folder wasn't enough, so I actually got some really wide washi tape and I taped a second manila folder inside the first. Sorry about my dog barking in the background. But what you can do is, I'm actually going to have this whole extra space left over, and that's fine. I don't mind, because in case I think of other things that I want to have organized in this folder, then I will have this space. But if you don't want to have the extra space, what you can do is just cut a manila folder in half and just tape in this one panel, and then you'll have exactly as much as you need for the pockets that I have planned today. So the way that I attach these in is just with my ATG gun. I run it all over, and yes, it does stick to the plastic. I run it along all the edges. And then I do a little bit extra on the inside just to make sure that it holds down. And then I stick my pocket in where I want it. And that's it. And you can see that it is holding on. And they're easy to get in and out of the pockets, except for this one because it's sticky. I need to find a piece of plastic to put over this little scrap sticky mat that I have. But then for the first pages, I have this one, which is going to be fine. That's just one piece. But then I have these two pieces with the bumpers. And what I want is I want the little bumpers on the top and then the bigger bumpers on the bottom. So what I'm going to need to do is adhere the little bumpers first. And again, same thing with my ATG gun. I'm just gonna go all the way around. And you want to do this kind of slowly. If you do it too fast, the adhesive doesn't really want to stick. And then what I'm gonna do is go down those stitch lines. And there we go. And this one I'm just gonna put up here. I don't want the bumpers to reach above the top of the folder, so I'm gonna put it right about there. And then what I'm gonna do is run the adhesive all over the back of this and just stick it on the bottom, and so you can easily get any of the bumpers out. And that is my storage method. So I hope you like this, and maybe it'll help you out with storing some of these odds and ends that we've been using for our Misti. And thanks very much for watching.